Welcome to Hamilton County Television. In today's broadcast, we have the host, Noblesville Lady Millers, Lacrosse versus North Central. Today's game should be an exciting game if we stay a little bit dry. This game's brought to you today by Hamilton County Television, Hometown Television Web Network, and our sponsors are Logan Street Sign and Banners. Visit them on the web at www.loganstreetsigns.com or call them 317-773-7200. Noblesville Trophies. Noblesville Trophies can be seen on the web at www.noblesvilletrophies.com or call them direct at 317-773-7391. For today's matchup, I'm your host, Joe Morris, going to broadcast live here. We're live streaming for tonight's matchup, and we're going to be having a great opportunity to learn a little bit about lacrosse. We're going to have a great opportunity to see two excellent teams. Currently, our Noblesville Lady Millers are ranked number one in the state. We've got several outstanding players, great staff. Should be an exciting game. For all your Hamilton County action, watch Hamilton County TV live or on demand on your smart TV, your Apple TV, Roku TV, phone, plus any device with the YouTube app. Subscribe to our YouTube channel at www.hctvyoutube.com. That's www.hctvyoutube.com. That was the playing of our national anthem. And we got starting lineups starting now. So our today's starting lineups, North Central Panthers, we have number 3, Ellie Fissinger, number 4, Joe Blankenship, number 5, Anna Sheeny, number 11, Zoe Hildebrandt, number 19, Katie McCarty, number 34, Kenyon Lee. Number 35, Katie Shewart. Number 36, Megan Brown. Number 38, Elise Overholt. Number 86, Sam Kent. Your starting lineup for Noblesville. At goalie, number 50, Kaylin Knoll. At number 18, Rachel Shipman. Number 28, Grace Hammond. Number 21, Rachel Bulla. Number 26, Meredith Miller. Number 11, Hannah Parter. Number 30, Taylor Geisen. Number 29, Grace Newman. Number 16, Ellie Palmer. Number 13, Hannah Netvig. Number 17, Catherine Sandys. And number 27, Lainey Thomas. I'm joined tonight for tonight's matchup with our resident expert, Rob Green, handle the technical calls for this broadcast. Welcome, Rob. Who would have thought that you and I would be able to call on live TV a lacrosse game? Rob brought me into this sport 2 years ago by recruiting my daughter, Kylie Morse. She's on this roster. Rob is going to help us out this evening with the technical side of this, what the plays are, and I'll just be your host.
Well, that'd be great.
How are you?
I've done this before, so.
Hey, first time for everything. All right, well, we've got it. No question. But we wouldn't have it if it wasn't for Hamilton County Television and Hometown Television Network.
Love our hometown television station.
Mm-hmm. And today's sponsors are Logan Street Signs and Banners. Visit us on the web at www.loganstreetsigns.com. Logan Street Signs and Banners specializes in last-minute signage and banners, serving Noblesville and Hamilton County since 1992. You can contact them direct at 317-773-7200 or visit their website at www.loganstreetsigns.com. Noblesville Trophies offers a large range of products including sports trophies, corporate awards, and in-house embroidery. Noblesville Trophies provides you with the same-day service for those last-minute decisions. Contact them direct at 317-773-7391 or check them out on the web at www.noblesvilletrophies.com. Rob, what do you think? What do you think tonight's matchup is going to look like?
Well, I tell you, I think it's a little bit of a lopsided matchup this evening. There's a lot of discrepancy in the skill sets between a program like Noblesville that's been established for quite a while and North Central that's been kind of up and down. They've had some coaching changes over the years, and like a lot of schools in Indiana have gone through periods of time where they just they don't have enough players or enough coaches to keep building the program, so it's in an up and down. And we'll see what we get tonight, though. You never know.
Okay, great. So I'm going to rely on you tonight to help me and help those viewing this matchup on what's going on in the game. So here we have a goal right there, goal.
Taylor Geisen. She basically just got into the interior, got on the goalie circle, and was able to make a nice underhanded shot. One of the tougher shots for a goalie to stop, especially when they're on the crease.
Now, Taylor, she's a signee with Cincinnati, is that right?
She is, yep.
She's going to the University of Cincinnati?
Playing there on scholarship.
On scholarship, that's great.
A couple years from now, though.
Okay, so she's a junior?
She is a junior.
Good. Now, what's going on right now?
We're doing the draw here, and so the draw is like a face-off in hockey or a jump ball at the beginning of basketball. And the idea is that the girls have to take their sticks and throw the ball up, and it has to go above the head to be a legal draw. And then, of course, they work to get control of it and go down and kind of get on a fast break. Most of the goals in lacrosse should happen in transition, at least half of them. And if your team is moving the ball well through the air, that happens. And if you try to run it down, it gets tougher to score in transition.
I see.
But again, you can see there that when the girls get the ball on the goalie circle, or the crease as the boys call it, it just is very hard for the goalie to stop that.
Yeah, I can see that. That was number 16, Ellie Palmer, with the goal. Now, when you introduced me to this sport, You told me it was a great sport for soccer players, basketball players, because there was some similarities. What did you mean by that?
My background, of course, being from Indiana, is basketball, and so when I first started to coach youth lacrosse, I didn't know anything about it, and it seemed very foreign. But the day that I realized that really so much of the offense and defense are identical to basketball, it really kind of made the game a lot easier for me to understand and start to get to know. And so this is nothing more than a fast break in basketball. Now what you saw right there is a little bit of a difference that you won't see in really any other sport, and that is that they're backing it up for a penalty, and that particular penalty was called what are they trying to think of, the shooting space.
Yeah, shooting space.
Yeah, shooting space violation. What it means is that the defender was more than a stick length away from the shooter, and because the girls don't wear any equipment to speak of other than their goggles, they have to really be focused on safety.
I see.
And so they have to make sure that they don't shoot if somebody's in the way.
Well, as we've witnessed, it can be a quick scoring game. The Lady Millers are up 3-0 over the visiting Panthers.
Not a surprise, but again, it's a veteran team against
That's young.
Yeah, young, but veteran. You know, that's probably why we have so many discrepancies in the skills. Is that some of the girls, Lady Millers, have actually been playing this game for probably 7 or 8 years, and there's probably a lot of the girls on the North Central team that may be first-year players or second-year players.
Well, when you look around the state, not every high school program has a team or a program, right?
Correct.
And when you look at the top 25 schools in the state, I hate to say the bigger schools, because there are smaller schools, of course, but it seems to me, from what I've seen this season, it seems like those that have made the commitment on this program in lacrosse, whether it be men's or women's, it seems to be a bigger school. Is that right?
I would say that you'll see it in the public school system in the bigger schools, but you also see it in a lot of private schools. And that kind
like
of,
the Cathedrals, the Chattards, Guerin Catholics.
Correct.
Culver.
And you're seeing at the college level that it also is a lot of the private schools that are kind of adopting the sport.
Well, you and I both went to a private school. Rob's a proud Butler Bulldog.
Yep.
I'm a proud University of Indianapolis Greyhound. And back in the day, we had the top dog thing going on. Here, two top dogs have decided to come down and sit down and call a game.
Did you see that steal?
That was great, wasn't it?
That was unbelievable. Hannah Potter has a real knack for coming around and stealing the ball.
So as they set these plays up, there's a lot of movement, a lot of rotation. Are they allowed to set picks or screens?
They can set picks. Actually, unlike basketball, there is no penalty for a moving screen in lacrosse. So they are allowed to do screens and picks, but they also have to make it safe. So you can't do a blind pick like you can in basketball.
Okay.
If the person being picked can't see the person setting the pick, then that's illegal.
So here the Lady Millers score again. I believe that was Hannah Potter. Or was that Taylor Geisen?
I saw Hannah go to the ground, so I was watching her. I didn't notice.
So the
that
Lady
she
Millers
scored,
are up
but she must
4-0. Tonight's matchup is a varsity matchup. Following this game, they'll have a JV matchup between the two programs. At halftime, the Noblesville Lady Miller seniors will be recognized. And on this team, on this roster, I believe there's 3 seniors. Is that right?
I believe that is right. The goalie's a senior. I know that. And then I think we've got probably 2 more field players that are seniors.
Shipman and
the other one.
We'll have to look at
Laney Thomas.
Laney Thomas. Great.
Yep. So I think what's noticeable in this game so far is that Noblesville has controlled every draw, and so that's the equivalent of doing a jump ball in basketball. Every time you get the tip, the other team never gets the ball. Makes it very hard to score if you can't get the ball.
So we have 11 on the field representing each team.
11 plus the goalie.
Plus the goalie, so 12 total?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so similar to football, maybe soccer, they have a number of, I think, 11 on the field, but and then you got a play set. You got an up-tempo game, typically.
Mm-hmm. The defense, again, is very similar to basketball.
Is it man? Is it zone?
It can be both.
Okay.
Can be both. Different schools will use different approaches and at different times in the game, usually based on the skill sets. The best defenders will use their feet, just like in basketball. You'll often see in newer players, they'll try to use their stick to hold people back. Of course, that's not legal and will get called most of the time. But unfortunately, a game like this, it gets really difficult for a team like North Central when they just can't get the draw.
Well, as a reminder, you're watching this live stream of the Noblesville Lady Millers Lacrosse versus North Central Panthers on Hamilton County Television, the Hometown Television Web Network. You can watch Hamilton County TV live or on demand or on your smart TV, Apple TV, Roku TV, phone, plus any device with a YouTube app. Subscribe to our YouTube channel at www.hctvyoutube.com.
So the Millers, again, take the ball away. I'm not sure North Central's had the ball on their offensive end.
Now, they do use terms like red zone or anything like that in terms of coaching? You've coached this sport.
Yeah, so we've got a couple of different field demarcations. You'll see the cones there about the 30-yard line. And so offensive players are allowed to play on the offensive two-thirds. So from the 30-yard line, including the entire right end, or in this case, our offense is on the right end, they can play on that two-thirds of the field. The defense can play on the defensive end, two-thirds of the field, which is to the other 30-yard line. And then the middies, midfielders, are able to play the whole field and run from end to end. So essentially what you're looking for as a referee or fan is that you need on defense to have at least 4 players back behind the 30-yard markers on defense, and then when you're back on defense, you need to have your offensive people, at least 4 people back behind the 30.
Noblesville takes, again, the draw. It's been a constant theme this evening.
Yep. Now there's an advanced player. She lost her balance, went to a knee, and still didn't drop the ball. That's, these girls, unlike the boys, they don't have much of a pocket on the stick. And so it makes cradling, which is the running with the ball, much more difficult, and it makes the shooting much more difficult, but it also takes a lot of the velocity off the shot. And here we go down the middle. Nice stop by the goalie.
What I've noticed in this season and watching the games is that shots on goal, there's quite a few. I know for the Lady Millers, they've had a lot of shots on goal.
They do.
And turnovers are your worst enemy.
They are. They are.
But right now it looks like we've kind of got things working out, to your point.
Yeah, again, just a lopsided game. So we're, kind of looking for ball movement as the Millers. You're looking for passing. Looking for some of the things that you want to make sure don't break down in a mismatch like this.
Well, here we are with a score with 18 minutes, 19 seconds left in the first half. The Lady Millers 7, the North Central Panthers 0. Now we run 25-minute halves.
In the high school game, yep.
Is it a running clock, or did they stop the clock?
It's stop clock, unless there's a 10-point differential.
Okay.
If they reach that point, then they will run the clock unless there's an injury timeout or something of that nature. Another unique part of the game is when the players take a shot on goal. If they don't hit the goal and the ball goes out of bounds, the team closest to where the ball went out of bounds at the time it went out of bounds gets the ball. If it's a pass, then it's like any other sport. If you're responsible for it going out of bounds, then it's the other team's possession.
Okay. If a viewer this evening wanted to learn more about lacrosse, and let's say they're interested in their kid starting lacrosse, where would they go? usalacrosse.com
To
or
learn the
US
game
Lacrosse?
in terms of rules and strategies, there are not a lot of better resources than uslacrosse.org.
.org. Okay.
If you wanted your
Nice
son
deal.
or daughter to get involved in lacrosse, I've always felt like the best place to start is the indoor leagues, which is off season. This is, of course, a spring sport, so the off season is your fall and winter. And we play a lot of lacrosse over at Off the Wall in Carmel. It's an indoor facility, and it's a much smaller field, closer to a small hockey rink, and played with fewer players. And what makes it such a great learning environment is just because of the smaller field, the action is a lot faster. And because there's fewer players, there's a lot more touches for all of the girls. They don't have offense and defense. They pretty much just run kind of like pick-up league play. But they just touch the ball a lot more, play a lot more defense. There's a lot more scoring. So it's the best place to start. And then, of course, we've got a great youth program both for boys and girls here in Noblesville. We've had probably the top girls team for the last few years. They've always been in the top 5. And then the boys team has probably been in the top 10 off and on for the last probably 15 years.
Taylor Geisen with this nice steal, covering some turf right now. Nice outlet pass.
What a nice pass over the top. She waited till the defender came up on her before she passed it. Now there's one of our JV players, a freshman, Kayla Kubel, and she again got the pass right on the goalie circle, but then wasn't able to convert by throwing. She threw it right at the goalie. So her shot selection usually is pretty better. She's probably pretty excited to be out on varsity so early.
Sure. And there's quite a few of those
Yes.
underclassmen.
We got about 15 freshmen playing on this top lacrosse team in the state.
Number 30, Taylor Geisen with the goal. Lady Millers 8, North Central Panthers 0. Well, you've had your hand on that. A number of those freshmen you've coached over the last few years, right?
Actually, this is the first year that I've coached almost every player, every grade.
Wow.
So, actually, I have coached every grade. I've coached almost every player. There's a few girls that have come out in high school that didn't play youth, so I didn't coach them. But, yeah, these are all my girls. This is pretty exciting.
It's got to be a special thing for you to see, especially on this season. Currently, the Noblesville Lady Millers is undefeated.
Yeah.
They've had a couple challenges. I think in those 2 games, you may agree. The challenge was really the challenge they created for themselves because turnovers, the level of intensity might have had a factor.
Yep.
But when you look in Hamilton County, in the programs that we have, you've got your host tonight, Noblesville Lady Millers. You've got Carmel.
Hamilton's having a little down year.
Yeah.
I mean, they're perennial powerhouse, but, yeah. And then there's, of course.
You got Hamilton Southeastern Fishers. That program's
Yep.
a combined program.
It is. And they're an exceptional program.
You think you'll see them split?
Oh, yeah. Next year they split. This is the last year combined.
So HSC Fishers, I believe they call them the Pride.
No, that actually was a travel team that was made up of a lot of those girls.
Okay.
Yeah.
But that is one, and we're talking Hamilton County. You've got Westfield.
Oh, you're just talking about programs in general?
Just programs in Hamilton
Yes.
County.
Yes.
So you've got 4.
Yes. I'm trying to think of who else might be.
Noblesville, Carmel, HSC Fishers, Westfield.
Yeah, I think that's it.
Now,
Oh, Zionsville.
Guerin.
Zionsville's in Hamilton County, isn't it?
no, but
it's
you
not?
got Guerin. That's Hamilton County.
Yep,
Guerin
that
Catholic.
is. Yep.
So 5 programs
That's right.
in Hamilton County. Now, you don't have to go too far to get to what you mentioned. Zionsville, Cathedral, they're stacked. Defending state champion.
Buff,
Park Tudor.
Who else?
Of course, tonight's guest, North Central.
North
Then you got
Central.
Warren Central.
Yep. You've got some programs to our north too. Fort Wayne has got teams. South Bend has several teams.
Evansville they've got programs starting. I know that you've got Evansville North with a program, Castle. I know that Bossy and Memorial and these others have set up programs. That's growing down there. Recently, I was reading a headline. I grew up in Southwest Indiana, that Evansville North had their first, Evansville as a whole, as a city, had their first college signee in lacrosse off a girl that was here when we hosted Evansville North.
Is that right?
She's the very first girl out of Evansville, or athlete, to get a lacrosse scholarship.
Where's she going, do you know?
Yes. She's going to a school in Kentucky. I believe it's a Division III or NAIA. But they had her in a paper as the first, and they had a profile on lacrosse and how it's coming through Evansville. And so it's interesting to see these pockets. So you got the South Bend market, Fort Wayne market, Indianapolis Metro, now Southwest Indiana.
We know that's one of the unique aspects of girls lacrosse right now, right? And everything's a period of time, but right now, if a girl coming out of high school lacrosse wants to play college, they can just about play college. That's just all. If you're just really committed to playing and you're willing to play anywhere, there's just so many emerging programs. Now that doesn't mean you can play D1.
Well, and look at the state of Indiana. Your Division I program is Notre Dame. And Division II is the University of Indianapolis. I was talking to a mutual friend. I guess Franklin has added lacrosse.
DePaul has also.
DePaul.
Yep. University of Indianapolis.
That's Division II.
Yep.
They've got a fully funded program.
Let's see. Those are the ones that I can think of that are. Oh, Hanover. I can't remember if they've got girls yet or not. I know they got boys.
So what you're saying, there's a lot of opportunities for a young lady that's looking to be an athlete at the next level, lacrosse. It reminds me of golf. So many scholarships are left
That's exactly right.
not taken. But it's an exciting time. You know, we both have daughters that are athletes, but to see them have opportunities. That,
your daughter almost scored. Left-handed. Just missed her shot. Kylie's really taken. She's only been playing the sport, started last year, and a perfect example of the opportunity in the sport is Kylie's just a good athlete, which is why I recruited her for so many years, and finally got her to come over and try it.
Well, yes, it was a 3 or 4 year process, but I was glad
she's been recruited longer than she's been playing.
Yes. Yes, but to your point, what I've witnessed here, I've watched a number of these girls. The penalty.
For your viewers that don't know, what do they just call?
Well, it's a good point. I got to talking to Joe, and I wasn't really watching. Sorry about that. We can
could have been a spacing.
We can look at some of the penalties because there are some unique penalties.
We got a goal there.
Typically, when you're in the goal, you're going to see. You're going to see mostly shooting space violation. And that, as we talked about earlier, is when a girl gets in the way of a shot. If she's further than a stick length away, they will stop play to keep it safe. They will move the defenders all out. They'll put the girls on. There's 2 arcs out there. There's an 8-meter arc and a 12-meter arc. And they'll put the girls on a 8-meter arc, so out of the way of the shooter, then blow the whistle, and the shooter has an opportunity to go in and try to score. That's usually what you'll see when they're down there so close to the goal. Occasionally you'll see some a push or a shove, and so that would result in about the same response, giving the girl the ball on the 8-meter arc. Now here we're going to see finally the goalie's going to get a little action. Uh-oh. Looks like we might have had another shooting space violation there.
Well, with 10-15 left in the first half, your Lady Millers are on the board with 11 scores versus North Central's 0.
Yep.
So here you had a shot on goal. It went in, but there was a whistle before.
A lot
of
parents struggle with that when the ball goes in the goal and they call it back because it was an unsafe shooting situation. They feel like, just in this case, they ended up, the ball went in the goal, they called it back, and the gal did not score. And so they lost their advantage. And they do that to keep the game safe. You know, the girls just don't wear the equipment like the boys do. And a lot of parents have trouble with that. They think the girls ought to be wearing equipment. The U.S. Lacrosse national stance on that is they just don't want the game to turn into the boys' game where it's so rough and tumble. They want to, you know, the girls' game is based on a lot of speed and finesse, and the boys' game is a little bit more about power. And
there we go.
There's something you just don't see a lot in the girls.
As we're talking about the physicality differences.
That's right.
Well, you know, it's like anything. I remember watching in that Cathedral game how intense and physical that game was.
Yep.
And you look at this, it wouldn't take much to take a stick upside the head,
right,
so to speak. But the protection, I've watched, this is more finesse versus the men's game is more physical.
Yep, so another shooting space violation. And again, you're going to see those a lot with newer programs. They just, it's kind of a hard rule to understand. And so a lot of girls struggle to understand
we have a goal.
You end up converting. And
so Lainey Thomas with the goal, number 27.
A senior on senior night. How about that?
Hey, that's what you want to do, right, on senior night?
Exactly right.
Miller's 12, North Central 0. Now, like in other sports, let's say baseball, is there a 10-run rule?
There is for the clock.
From the clock.
So with us now being up 12 points, once it got to 10, the clock would just keep running. They won't. There's no mercy rule, so they're not going to quit playing.
Okay.
They're not going to quit scoring, but they will just keep the clock running so that they don't drag the game out for longer than it needs to. You know, at the youth level, when they get to a 4-goal differential, they stop taking draws.
So what would they do otherwise?
They would just award the team that's down by 4 the ball.
Okay.
As a coach, I never really cared for that rule. In Noblesville, we did not ever accept the possession. But luckily, we weren't in a position very
There's
often.
Kylie. See if she goes.
Yeah, there she goes. Nice left-handed goal.
Yeah. Kylie Morris, number 23, with the goal. Miller's 13, North Central 0.
You know, this same team right here won the inaugural championship in girls lacrosse for the youth back in the 8th grade.
So the girls that are out there now?
Yep. This full field of girls, all the way from the juniors who were 8th graders to the 6th graders who were freshmen, won the very first state championship in girls lacrosse. Undefeated season.
Excellent. Well, this year's state tournament should be pretty exciting.
Well, it looks like they're trying to kind of relive that glory year, undefeated season with the state championship.
So what we got?
Well, what you got there is you got number 18, Rachel Shipman, also a senior, who is a defensive player. Again, another neat aspect of the game is that as long as we have 4 back, it doesn't matter what 4. It doesn't matter whether you're a defenseman.
And she scores.
Whether you're a defenseman or you're a midi, or as long as we have 4 people back, anybody can advance the ball. Anybody can take a shot, including the goalie.
So basically, she went from one end of the field to the next, the other end.
Yeah, so she got the ball. Actually, again, she gets 2/3. So she was up in the midfield area, but she got the ball. But a lot of times what the defense will do, of course, is pass it up to the offensive players who are a little bit more skilled. But in this case, senior night and all, it was a great move on her part to just take the ball down and be aggressive and take the shot and get the goal.
That was kind of a vision of watching her in basketball this year, shooting threes.
Yeah, yeah.
Good for her. So we got the Lady Millers 14, North Central 0. Taking the draw.
Here we go with Aaron Wilson coming up with a nice steal. Another freshman, just started last year. started
I
with
see
your
a number
daughter.
of basketball players out there, Rob.
Yeah.
You spent a
there
few
are.
nights in the gym, it looks like.
Yep. So when our numbers were down, that's where we turned. We started looking for all of the basketball players because the games are so similar. And luckily, after a little bit of coaxing, a lot of those girls came over and joined us and are having a lot of success out here in the lacrosse.
You know, from an athletic standpoint, you can tell on this Noblesville team, they've got a number of athletes that aren't just – they wouldn't have to just be a lacrosse player. I'm certain that they had options, whether it be track, softball.
There's actually a lot of soccer players out there too. So, like anything, good athletes can take it from one field to another. And that's the same thing with lacrosse. But, what I like as a coach is that even though the sports are similar, it allows them to build similar skill sets in various environments. Now there's a good scoop by the goalie, paying attention, and now she's got to outlet that. Easy dump over to Rachel. Maybe she'll run down and score again. Who knows?
She's got some wheels.
She does. One of our faster defenders.
Now she's going to take her talents to the next level also, isn't she? Ohio Northern or Northern
I hadn't
Ohio?
heard that. Not surprised, though.
Yes, she's going to play lacrosse at Northern Ohio.
Like I said, there's probably every girl on this field would have very little trouble getting into college playing lacrosse if that was their objective.
All right, what do we got there? We had Kylie Morris.
Yep, so that was probably a sphere violation, I believe. I didn't see the signal exactly, but the sphere is basically, you can imagine a globe around the player's head. And again, because they don't have a helmet, it's illegal for the defender to put their stick inside of that sphere. And so a lot of times when the girls are running with the ball, the defender will get a little aggressive trying to take it from them, and so they get into that sphere. And so, again, it stops play and moves everybody back. And
then basically you get a free shot on goal.
Not in a sphere unless you're close enough that you get to go back to the 8 meter if you're within the shooting space. So
she was
think
a little
that's
wide.
Yeah.
We're nearing the 2-minute mark in the first half.
There's some good attempt to get it downfield in the air. As a coach, I'd just assume my team, even if they're taking a beating like this, I'd just assume they keep moving it through the air because you're not going to get any better running it down the field. So good for them to keep throwing the ball and trying to advance it in the air. Oh, she missed a nice open pass there. Now you'll see our defenders again.
Nice defense.
Great stop.
That was a great stop.
And then look at that outlet right there.
And you just want to push
the ball
it, right?
down the field quickly. It starts the transition. Now, again, we didn't make the catch and continue the transition, but that's how it starts, with a quick outlet by the goalie. Here's our defenders. Again, you'll see right there was probably a stick violation. Again, she's got her hands up and pushing a little bit. You can't really push like they're doing. So we teach to mirror the stick head. Keep your stick head matching their stick head. You can't extend your arms with your stick to push them out. You can get in their way with your feet.
Nice
Another great stop. This goalie is too good for them to shoot that far out.
She's had a nice season.
She's a great goalie. Great goalie.
She's also a senior.
She'll
be recognized at halftime. As the clock winds down, I'm sure we'll see a little bit of old school four corners. Reminds me of Jack Butcher and the Lagodi Lions. He was an excellent coach and teacher of the four corner to run that clock down. Stall ball.
Well, you got a lot of hungry younger players in here, so I don't know if they're going to go into
number
the stall
32, Kayla Mertens, she's definitely hungry.
Yep. So, again, shooting space violation. So it gives her a pretty easy starting point. It just depends on how quickly they can get in there. So, and again, in this situation, the gal down by the goal, what she wants to do is she really wants to lead with her stick and try to get within a stick length. But as
there
you
she
kind of
is,
saw,
Kayla Mertens with the goal.
the defender there was not really sure what to do, so she didn't really react when the whistle blew, and that left it wide open for Kaylin to convert on the score and go up by yet
well,
another
we
score.
zero out the scoreboard there. It's Halftime, your host, Lady Millers, with a score of 15 and the visiting North Central Panthers 0. We're going to take a minute to recognize our sponsors. We're also going to have an opportunity during this halftime to have an introduction of our seniors as we recognize them for their commitment and talents. Today's sponsor here on Hamilton County Television, the Hometown Television Web Network. You can watch Hamilton County TV live or on demand on your smart TV, your Apple TV, Roku TV, phone, plus any device that has a YouTube app. Subscribe to our YouTube channel at www.hctvyoutube.com. Logan Street Signs and Banners. Logan Street Signs and Banners specializes in last-minute signage and banners, serving Noblesville and Hamilton County since 1992. You can contact them direct at 317-773-7200 or visit their webpage on the World Wide Web at www.loganstreetsigns.com. Noblesville Trophies offers a large range of products, including sports trophies, corporate awards, and in-house embroidery. Noblesville Trophies provides you with the same-day service for those last-minute decisions. Contact them direct at 317-773-7391 or check them out on the web at www.noblesvilletrophies.com. Well, here we are at halftime. We're going to do a little halftime ceremony to recognize the Lady Miller seniors that's on this team.
Making their tunnel.
They're making the tonal. And this Lady Miller's team is an undefeated team right now, currently ranked number 1 in the state. Is that right?
They've been fluctuating between number 1, number 2.
Those rankings are all computer-based.
Yeah.
So really, what does it really mean? The bottom line is coming up in a week or so, the state tournament.
Yeah, it doesn't really matter what your ranking going in is. You still got to win your games.
Mm-hmm.
And there's nobody that they haven't beaten so far, and I think they're perfectly capable of winning state championship. You never know how things work out, though, but they're ready.
Number 20, Sophie. Number 20, Sarah Mosler. Sophie Michael.
What's this introduction they're doing here, Joe?
Evidently, they're recognizing the seniors from North Central as well.
Oh, really?
That's a compliment and very classy for Noblesville to recognize them on this evening, especially on being a visitor. I haven't seen that before.
I haven't either, but I like it.
Mm-hmm. So Noblesville girls lacrosse seniors being announced.
I see down here in the stands Haley Comp. She graduated last year as our sole senior, and she's playing in college.
Where's she playing at?
Down in Alabama somewhere.
Oh, Alabama, Huntsville?
Yeah.
That's a Division II program. She had some nice write-ups on her. I believe I saw one of your Facebook posts about
That's right.
Alabama, Huntsville.
Yep.
What I think's great is when you can see a student-athlete get the opportunity to go to the next level, whether it be Division I, Division II, 3, NAIA, junior college. It's what a great opportunity for them, beyond just the academics, beyond the athletics, the relationships, the connections that come from those relationships, and it's great. It's great to see those kids do well at the next level. I believe she was a goalie.
She was attack.
Okay.
She was an attack player. She played through a lot of issues with shin splints. And, sometimes she could barely walk, and she'd go out there, just a really tough kid, and had a great shot. So she would just kind of live around the goalie circle, and they would get the ball down to her, and she would just score and score and score. Now, I think she's playing goalie in college.
Well, I read that she was.
Yeah.
Now, I don't know if that's a permanent spot for her.
I think
or
it is. I think it is.
Yeah, that's what I read.
And again, probably goes well with the shin splints that she was having. But again, just
well, to your
great.
point, athletes find a place,
yeah,
right?
They sure do.
They're going to find her a place.
Yep. And I think she's having a pretty decent season down there.
Well, I know that the University of Indianapolis Lady Greyhounds program, they played Alabama Huntsville. I don't recall the results, but interesting enough, when you have a daughter that plays women's lacrosse at this level, you find yourself snooping around on the web, finding out what's going on at the next level, and you just, I think that's relative to all sports, right, as a parent? Another outstanding freshman on this team is Kat Green, your daughter. What's going on with Kat? I know she had an injury.
Well, she's we just got an MRI done early this week, and we haven't got the results yet. We're looking at probably either shin splints or possibly a stress fracture.
Okay.
If it's a stress fracture, she'll be done for the year probably. And we're hoping that it's shin splints or something less.
Yeah.
But, yeah, she was having a great season.
She was. Starter, big-time contributor. And, when you look at these 3 seniors being recognized, and then you look at this junior class, how strong they are, these upperclassmen are giving great leadership to the underclassmen.
Mm-hmm.
And what I've noticed on this is the synergy the team has and how well they get along and interact and just the work that they do. And it's probably that way with the other programs, I would think. But I certainly have noticed it on this team's program. And that's refreshing because, in today's world of sports, you don't always have that.
Yeah, it's a really good team from a technical standpoint of the sport. Good athletes, they understand the game, they've practiced and have played for quite a while. But beyond that, there's a lot of deep friendships that have gone back for many, many years in especially both the junior class and the freshman class, which are the 2 most populous class. With only 3 seniors, and there may be only 1 or 2 sophomores on this team. So there's a lot of friendships out there that go deep, and when you have a lot of success, it also kind of deepens those relationships. So what a special group of seniors there that kind of stuck it out. They've done well on this team, and that goalie especially, Caitlin, has really come into her own this year. This game, you don't really get to see her skill sets because there's just not that many shots being put on her tonight. But, man, she is probably one of the top goalies, if not the top goalie in the state. Has really put a lot of work in. Lainey Thomas, she was an all-star her 8th grade year. And she, has just been a solid contributor for a lot of years, on and off the field. And then you got Rachel Shipman, who's just a phenomenal athlete. She is one of the ones I did not coach. She started her freshman year, I believe, and just, has so much speed, great nose for the ball, tough competitor, and is really an anchor of our defense. She's going to, all 3 of these girls are going to be missed, but losing a lot on defense.
Well, when you think about the position of goalie, we talked earlier about shots on goal. And you look at, we talked about the equipment. I mean, think about it. On a fast break, you've got an athlete, boy or girl, full sprint coming down at you, and you're in this little netted box with these goggles on and a bigger stick, and you're going to take a ball. How fast do you think that ball's coming?
The girls probably 30 miles an hour, I would guess.
30 miles an hour.
Yeah.
And it's a yellow rubber ball.
Maybe the hard shooters, maybe 40. Yeah.
I got to tell you, I've
like
watched
a rock.
her, and I've watched opposing teams. That's a tough job.
If you've never been hit by that ball, I remember my son was a goalie, and he would come home with all these welts all over him. And my daughter, Kat, she started in goal when she was in youth, and she was so excited by the big welt she got the first time she got one because it was just like her brother.
So what you're suggesting is for a fundraiser, all the lacrosse programs, all that, just scrap the dunking tank and go with the goalie.
Yeah.
The goalie game.
Yeah.
And you can just take free shots at whoever the chosen one is.
See who's willing to step in the goal. That's what we should do.
I think I could raise some serious money for local lacrosse programs, charge like $20 a shot, and you get as many shots as it takes to hit the person, I think that could be a great fundraiser.
Joe,
So,
you probably won't be in charge of the fundraising, I'm guessing.
and if I am, they're going to stick me in the goal for that fundraiser, I'm sure. Hey, you think it's so great, you do it. Well, tough spot. I mean, I've seen them in a tough position. You get, depending upon, I mean, here we got beautiful Harris Chevrolet field. You don't get this the sun in the eyes kind of, but I know that I saw last year on the admin field in a couple games that sun was coming in from the west, bearing down on that goalie, and man, I can see that being an issue for some fields. I think you recall the game I'm talking about.
Yep.
If you don't know which one, I'll remind you, Park Tudor.
Yeah, I've actually coached plenty of games to understand that it can be definitely.
Poor Jacqueline. I mean, that was brutal.
Yeah. You know, it's not just the goalie, though. It's I actually used to coach that aspect of the game, is to understand where the sun is and understand that you need to know as a person throwing the ball where the sun is, because you need to know if you're throwing it to somebody who's staring into the sun with only goggles to protect you, that's a dangerous pass. It can be. And more than that, it can lead to an easy turnover.
Sure.
And so we've talked a lot about understand, where the sun is, what time of day it is, and where you're standing. And if you're throwing to somebody that's looking right into the sun, why don't you hold it, run around, and take a little different angle so they're not looking into the sun. That's just some of the things that you think about out there when you're on the field, but maybe not when you're in the stands.
Well, here we are, wrapping up halftime. You got your Lady Millers 15, North Central Panthers 0. This weekend, we have the Lady Millers traveling to Culver. They're going to have a 2-game Saturday. To play 2 games on Saturday, they'll be playing St. Joseph's and Culver. What do you think that's going to be like?
It's interesting. Culver is a team that was highly ranked early in the year. They were actually number 1 for quite a while, but hadn't. They'd been winning by big numbers, which is what I think attributed to their high ranking. And then they came down and played some Indianapolis schools, and their ranking fell. I think they're still a decent team. I think that any given day that they can probably hang in and play with anybody. But ultimately, if the Millers are on their game, I don't think it should be that close. St. Joe probably isn't quite as talented as Culver would be. But again, haven't seen their team play this year.
I have a question. So they started varsity early. Is there going to be a JV game?
I just got here when the varsity was starting. Did they not play JV beforehand?
The JV game will follow this game.
They will play JV?
Yeah, following the varsity game.
Because originally, they flip-flopped it or something.
Yeah, originally the game was slated, the varsity game was slated to be immediately following the JV game. But due to the weather, they flopped it to get the varsity game in. So,
So they will play JV?
well, allegedly.
Hey, Cindy, are they still playing JV tonight?
Oh, okay.
So here we are, getting ready to start the second half. One of the great opportunities you have to be able to call a game like this is you also could have a Q&A session.
Just come on up to the box. We'll give
Yeah.
you the answers we got.
Figure it out,
If
man.
we don't know it, we'll just make it up.
We're like Wiki,
That's
we're the Wiki Noe.
That's right. Wiki Noe, that's us.
Well, I'm glad you were able to help out because being a local resident expert.
Oh, easy with the expert stuff.
Okay, well, it's allegedly.
There we go.
But of all the people I know, you've taught me a lot about this game, and I still don't know anything. But thank goodness for YouTube and the ability to go on there and just type in your search engine and find the videos on the how-tos of what it is we're looking at this evening.
Yep. So if you look here on the draw, some of the unique features about the draw for the girls is it does not matter what side of the ball or what side of your stick you stand on. You can stand on either side of the stick. The only requirement is that as they put the ball between the stick head of both girls, your stick head has to be open to your goal. And so in that case, you can move on either side of the stick, and we'll see different girls take different approaches.
Taylor.
Yep, Taylor.
Shot.
Taylor shoots high a lot, and is one of our better scorers.
Interception, another
Yep, got
opportunity
it
for
into
shot on
Hannah
goal. and
Potter.
There you go.
There's one of your top scorers in the state, if not the top.
Hannah Potter.
Yep,
I believe she's a signee with Central Michigan.
yep. Central or Western? I'm not sure which.
Central
Is
Michigan.
it Central? Mm-hmm. You seem to be dialed into that college stuff more than I am.
Well, you know. I love it. Truthfully, you know, I can joke about it, but the reality is I love it to see the kids have an opportunity at the next level. And when you have, in particular, these two juniors, Taylor Geisen and that young lady,
Hannah Potter, yeah.
Hannah Potter, who signed as sophomores. Mm-hmm. That came through a program where you were coaching. Mm-hmm. It's how rewarding is that?
Oh, it's great. And so the gal right there, Grace Newman, stole the ball, is another just fabulous player.
Junior.
Yep, she's part of that junior group. Very close and has played a number of years now. Very talented girl. Great nose for the ball. She wears the protective head covering there. Mm-hmm. She's had a number of concussions, which are just kind of, some of them have come from soccer. She was also a good soccer player. And one or two from lacrosse. And so you don't see it a lot, but she wears a little bit of extra head cover there.
Wow.
And that's the way to
Taylor
score.
Geisen to Hannah
Yep.
Potter.
No, it looked like Shipman to me. They may have.
Yes, Rachel
They
Shipman.
must have moved her to attack just so she can get some goals.
Well,
which-
you've got Taylor Geisen to Shipman. And we're looking at a score with 22:40 left in the second half. Miller 17, North Central 0. You know, at this point, if you're North Central, just getting on the board would be a
big
victory.
deal, yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. You know, the fun part of the youth is that actually with this team, we would have games like this pretty regularly. And
Nice pass.
over the years, as we were going through games like this, we would do all kinds of things. So you saw Rachel Shipman took a left-handed shot there. It may have been a direction from the coaches now that don't shoot with your strong hand anymore.
Mm-hmm.
Shoot left.
So that was Hannah Potter to Shipman.
Yep.
And you've got the Millers, didn't hesitate and waste any time to get on the board here in the second half. With 21:40 left in the second half, it's Millers 18, North Central 0.
But it's good to see the girls shooting left-handed. Hopefully that is the direction they got, so that every girl has to shoot left-handed, make it a little bit more challenging, and also advances their stick skills. I've been actually known to pull players off the field and play person down, sometimes two down. And again, that just puts a little bit more pressure on strong defense.
What you're saying is down, meaning instead of having 11, you might have 10 or 9.
Right.
Well,
Right.
that's a good.
And it just makes, what you never want as a coach, or at least I didn't, is you never want to call your players off. You never want to say to your players, play less than 100%. That is not really, in my mind, the proper coaching. You want them to go to 100%, but you also recognize that you don't want to be a bad sport.
Sure.
So, great. Thank you. Appreciate it.
That's great.
Oh, we
That's great.
we noticed number 18 is on the offensive end.
She is now.
Yeah.
She's trying to score eight 3-pointers.
Is that what it is?
Well, we mentioned that on the live air.
Oh, do we get two? Can we get two pieces?
Sure, half the middle.
Heck yeah. This great Greek's Pizza, one of my favorite pizzas.
There you go.
They're a sponsor at times, if not all the time, if not tonight.
You want another one? No, I'm going to get my son one. Okay. Son?
Well, here we are, as we're talking about food. The middle to score again, 19. Panthers 0. 20 minutes left in tonight's game. Looks like we went young again. little different look out there. I'm sure everybody will get a chance to switch it around.
So there's another freshman, Catherine Sandys.
She is quite a player as well, isn't she?
She is. She's a cross-country runner. And
Well,
boy,
she covers the field well.
She can run all day. She's fast. She's aggressive.
Well, that's another girl that's done multiple sports. Basketball, cross country,
Yep.
track, this.
There she cuts the gal off. A lot of inexperienced players will drop the ball when they have to actually change directions. Uh-oh. There we go. Goalie stops another one.
Nice. Nice defense. Well, she came to play on senior night. So we have a stoppage of play. Looks like the ball was out of bounds. Now they'll take it there where the ball went out, right?
Yep, where the ball went out, and because if it was a shot, the player closest to where it went out, when it went out. If it was a pass, then it would have been the other team's ball. So they must have called that one a shot on goal. It didn't go in. So they dump it to the goalie. The goalie has 10 seconds to leave the goalie circle. I think here they're calling that the defensive player was in the goalie circle, which is not allowed. So now the defensive player has to move 4 meters behind. A nice outlet to Rachel Bulla.
Let's see what Kaylin's got. Come on.
Here comes another freshman, Kylie Morris, your daughter. See if she can take it in and get another score.
Oh, she's trying to pitch it in there, isn't she?
No, I think that was a pass. She shoots a little harder than that. Here's Kaylin. She'll work for a shot.
Sure will.
You got a lot of freshmen out there. See number 15, Claudia Kirk. She's part of that junior class. She came out of cheerleading, Joe.
You talk about a switch.
There she goes. She got the ball.
Good for her.
Hopefully she'll look at her working for a shot. Nice ball control.
Going high.
And she flipped it in. Claudia
She got
Kirk
it.
on the board. Nice job, Claudia. Now what you're seeing on the defensive end here is you're seeing a team that is really committed to the man-to-man, and they just really can't match up with the skills of Noblesville. They really ought to have a lot more help defense going on. When we beat one person, we pretty much are in for the shot on goal pretty easily.
Well, at the 16-minute mark, and plus some, you've got Miller's 20, North Central Panthers 0. So hopefully that clock will just keep on burning. But nevertheless, you're seeing with the North Central Panthers, hey, they're playing an excellent Noblesville team. They're getting experience. They're going to do better. It just takes time, right?
It does.
And you look at our program, Noblesville's, it's taken time. It didn't happen overnight. And but I think beyond that, the commitment these schools, along with the others that we've mentioned earlier and those around the state have made to this, I think it's great. It's probably only a matter of time before the IHSAA recognizes it as a sanctioned sport. Would you agree?
Well, it has to reach a certain adoptance by, I believe it's maybe 20% of the schools in the state.
Well, we got a ways
So
to go then.
We do. But it's going to happen. It's
You
a
got
very
300
fast-growing sport.
Plus high schools in the state, athletic departments, and so you're going to need to hit that 60-plus mark. But it's coming.
It's coming. It's coming. So let me ask you this. You've played sports at the college level, and my word, was that a good shot.
That was.
That gal scored from the 8-meter.
Well, we got North Central on the board. And
yeah,
they're
bet
happy.
She does. But
North
she is
Central.
happy.
Hannah Sheening with the
Good
score.
for them.
Yes.
Nice little lift.
North Central won.
So I was going to ask you've played at the next level. You played some college ball yourself, football. Did you play any other
Sports growing up?
Well, I mean, any other at college level, or was it pretty much just football by that time?
No, it was just football. I
Yeah.
played football at the University of Indianapolis. But I was multi-sport athlete in high school, and I think that, we've had these conversations privately. Athletes, different motor skills, develop it, have fun. If you can't decide on what your primary sport is, try it till you find it. But I think if you have a primary sport, you still ought to have a secondary.
Mm-hmm.
So if, your football is your thing, then maybe baseball in the spring or track. If basketball is your thing, then maybe lacrosse in the spring. But going back, whether it be Wawasee, your alma mater, or Washington, mine, growing up, that's what you had with sports.
So have you ever been on a losing end of a game like this?
Yes. 1984, my sophomore year, I started on the varsity as a sophomore on the offense side, and we hosted Booneville, and they had a quarterback named Jeff Baker, who was 6'4", 225, Division I. Came out with Jeff George that year.
Mm-hmm.
It was an all-star. Our friend Lance Scheib knows this guy well, but lit us up for 73 points, 73-8 at home. It was our homecoming, and that following week, our coaching staff revamped the entire defense, and that's when I got the nod to be the starting middle linebacker also.
So what did your coach say to keep you in a game when you're having such a rough night?
They kept us motivated, but they were doing their fair share of shouting across the field at the opposing team because that Booneville team kept all their starters in just to rack up points and stats, and they did a fine job of that night. We were a young team too. It was a transitional period for our team at the time, and after that loss, interesting enough, not to say North Central would do this, but interesting enough, we revamped our entire defense that following week, and that following week we had to host Jasper.
Mm-hmm.
And I got my first start at middle linebacker against Jasper, and we lost on a touchdown in the fourth quarter. And I think it came down to depth chart, but the rest of the season we had to do 73 push-ups and 73 setups at every practice.
Just as a little reminder.
As a reminder of that beatdown. But I will say, the following year we had to travel to Booneville and play on their field, and we beat Booneville.
Yeah.
It was the last game of the regular season. But so, to me, you hope that a team, like North Central has the right mindset to know we just played a great team. And but you hope that they stay with it and don't get discouraged and don't keep working at it. Because you're going to have games like this.
Oh, another score.
But here you see, obviously, that score hasn't changed their level of enthusiasm because they've got their second score. And we're looking at a score, Miller's 20, North Central 2. That's 2 more points than they all had in the first half.
Now, we've got a lot of our younger players in at this point.
Looks like we've got a lot, and we've got them in different spots as well.
Yep. So I'm not sure that I see too many of our starters on the field, except for Rachel Shipman, the senior defender, who's actually on the offensive end right now.
Mm-hmm.
So again, it's giving a good experience. Now we're playing kind of probably a little bit more even skill set with our younger players. They probably have a bit of an advantage, maybe. A lot of our younger players are still pretty experienced. I've played several years of lacrosse, I'll say. So there was another foul there where she was getting into the sphere, trying to take the ball. So that puts her 4 meters behind, and then they restart play. Got Kaylin making a nice pass into the goal, and again things get a little unsettled in there whenever you got that many people all around the ball.
Well, this is the opportunity as a coach, right, where you get your kids in positions to develop and grow and let them take chances, play with a little more free spirit, I guess, so they can just work on their skill sets. And as they videotape, as they do, they'll watch film and they'll see and be able to have a teaching moment, right? Here's what you did good. Here's what you did bad. Here's how we're going to fix it. And
yep.
so
There's Lainey Thomas, one of our seniors, with the ball. She's at the position we call X, which is behind the goal. It's actually a great move to come and try to get a shot on
Nice
goal like she
defense.
just did. Kaylin Mertens picks up the ball from X. Now that was Aaron Wilson.
Mm-hmm.
But, so there we see a good defensive move. So what we saw probably an illegal check. So what she did is she took her stick and hit the other stick, the gal with the ball, trying to take the ball. But again, to do a legal check, you actually have to do down and away. You have to go away from the body when you're hitting with your stick. And so oftentimes, if they sense that you're not going away from the body, that'll be an illegal check. And the person will get the ball back. Good defense there. Keeping her stick mirroring the other stick. Got a little bit into the sphere, which can happen when you're trying to play that close, hard defense. So now they're starting to work it out. It's always important when you're into this kind of a setup on offense. You really want your offense to spread out.
Mm-hmm.
You want them to be outside that 12-meter arc because that really kind of opens up things for people to cut in. You know, and less experienced players will tend to they just keep creeping, encroaching in on the goal, getting closer and closer. And it was usually one of my frequent calls in the game. I'd yell out 12, and that meant get outside of the 12, and made all the players get out there before they could resume play.
When you look at this, we haven't seen a timeout yet. How many timeouts do you get? Is it
Each
so
team
many
gets
per
two.
half or total for
Two
the
per
game?
half.
2 per half.
Yeah, but they often don't take them, especially in a game like this.
So we got stoppage. Was that another one of those stick around the head
In the sphere, yep.
sphere?
Yep. Oh, that's a nice advanced pass.
Defense, good
She didn't make the
defense.
catch, but still got it. There's a great interception by our
Yes.
senior, Lainey Thomas. We used to give awards for interceptions. That was actually my favorite play of the game. Interceptions always show that a player is paying attention even when their player doesn't have the ball. In that case, Lainey saw where the pass was going, jumped in, took it, and started to go the other direction. This number 5 is their speedster on the team. She's the gal that scored with that nice shot earlier.
Mm-hmm.
Got him on the board for the first time. Now what you're seeing again some players that not quite the same level of experience, and so you're seeing the ball bounce around a little bit more. I would tell you that scooping the ball up with not much of a pocket on that stick is very difficult. You saw a great attempt at an interception there by Aaron, and you saw a nice progression downfield in the air, and they got it over our head and went one-on-one. The goalie doesn't have much of a shot when it's one-on-one.
As they say, outman at the point of attack. Mm-hmm. Well, here we are with 6 minutes. We got Lady Miller's 20, North Central 3. So North Central had a nice little surge for themselves. So they're gaining some confidence that they can score.
Mm-hmm.
But again, kind of a different look than what they had in the first 2/3 of this game.
One of the things that I think a lot of people don't understand that sit in the stands, the parents primarily, is that in order for the state rankings to be done, it's based on the score differential. And so that's why you see a lot of the schools and coaches kind of running the score up, is because it helps with the state rankings. And it's not that anybody necessarily cares about the state rankings as much as what they care about is the matchups that you get going into the postseason.
Because the rankings determine buys, which gives seeding and so forth in the brackets, right?
Right.
Well, I know that Noblesville came in #1 versus HSC Fishers, which was #2, and that was a heck of a game.
Well, it turned out to be. It shouldn't have been. I mean, Noblesville kind of led quite
Yeah,
a ways.
of course.
But they played a little bit of that stall tactic, which not many
3
of us are fans.
overtimes.
Yeah, 3 overtimes in the cold.
Yeah. And so, Noblesville thinks, hey, we're still a solid number 1 in the state because they just knocked off number 2 in the previous weeks, the number 1 and so forth. And the rankings come out, and here you have a 4-0 Culver who bumps up to number 1.
Mm-hmm.
And I believe at that time Noblesville was 7-0. Those computer-generated rankings could have some glitches.
It's not a perfect system. But look at all the difficulties with picking the football teams that should go to the national championship
Sure.
in college. They got computers, and they finally gave those up and just went to people. And I like the system when people do it. But
So we got stoppage of play. I don't know if was that a spacing call again when he's waving his arms side to side?
I couldn't really see from this angle what the motions were, and some of the referees do a little bit better actually doing the hand motions of what the infraction is. Sometimes I miss it. Sometimes they forget to do it. There's a lot to put together once there's some sort of a penalty out there. They've got to get all the girls in the right position, and that's a lot of responsibility, so they don't always think to take the time to wave exactly what the infraction was. It's not like
Football?
other sports where you might have one infraction of play. Basketball, you go quite a bit of time without a foul, but in this game there's actually quite a few infractions, quite a few fouls, a lot of game stoppage and resetting, and
Man, a lot of points. It can be fast, can it?
it can, especially when
Nice
you got a
defense
talented
there.
team. Here we go, getting the ball downfield. There we go, get the ball and try to keep the transition going. That looks like Meredith Miller
It does.
going down. Another freshman makes a nice
Nice
pass,
pass.
and our senior just a little wide right with that shot. But she was in a great scoring position and received the
that
pass.
fast.
Yeah,
It's just that fast, isn't it?
yeah.
Oh. Well, that goalie taking shots on goals, hanging in there.
You know what a lonely position it is in a game like this. When you're the goalie and you're letting 20 goals in, it takes a lot of character for a
And
guy
taking
or
like
gal.
30 shots. I don't
Takes
know
a
what
lot for a gal to sit in there or a guy to sit in there and take that many shots and let them in. And the goalie isn't responsible for a lot of those goals. It's like we said, when it's one-on-one, you don't have much of a chance to stop the goal. It really the goalies rely a lot on the defenders to prevent the shot from ever happening. But when the shots are happening right on the goalie circle, it's just there's not much they can do about it.
Not at 30 miles an hour. Yeah.
Nice progression upfield. Now you see our gal there kind of running with her stick, and it's easy to get in front of their face and get in their sphere when you're trying to play defense that way. That's probably one of our newer players. Are we broadcasting the JV game tonight? No. Okay, so we won't see that game. That'll be happening after this one. I will say that Noblesville is in need of more girls playing this sport. And, we don't have a full JV team. But so there's still opportunity to get involved. And, even players that are just at a high school level can still come in. And we've got several girls that have started in high school. And, Rachel Miller, a perfect example, or Rachel Shipman is a perfect example of somebody who started as a freshman and is really one of the star players as a senior and has been a strong contributor for the last 3 years.
Well, back to, she primary sport, I'm sure at the time was basketball.
Basketball. Yep.
And so she picked up what she thought was going to be a secondary sport, which now is going to take her to the next level.
That's right. It's happened to Hannah Potter, too. She was a soccer player. And
Primary
she thought
sport.
she was going to play soccer in college and fell in love with lacrosse, was very good at it, and now she's going to go on to the next level at lacrosse. And well, it looks like they're going to try to get
As
one
the
more
clock
score,
winds
but
down,
may not make it happen.
it's going to be it, folks. Your Noblesville Lady Millers are going to win this game 20, your North Central Panthers 3.
Well, it was good to do my first game with you, Joe.
Who would have thought?
Who'd have thunk? Matter of fact, I didn't even know 15 minutes before the game. They texted me and said,
Well,
hey.
to your point, I knew about it earlier, and I said I'd like to have a co-host, a resident expert.
Oh, man.
And I asked, where's Rob Green?
Oh,
So-
buddy. Thank you.
Miss Palmer, text you.
She did.
I'll be there in 10
Yeah.
minutes. So I got this thing rolling. I got us on the road, man.
Hey, it was
And
fun.
you carried us.
It was fun.
How
I don't know
great is
about
that?
I don't know about that, but it's a lot of fun.
It was great. It was my pleasure. I enjoyed it. And so here we have the wrap up on tonight's matchup with your Noblesville Lady Millers 20 and your North Central Panthers 3. As a reminder, you're watching Hamilton County Television, the Hometown Television Web Network. Watch Hamilton County TV live or on demand on your smart TV, Apple TV, Roku TV, phone, plus any device that will allow you to put a YouTube app on it. Subscribe to our YouTube channel at www.hctvyoutube.com. Our sponsors, Logan Street Signs and Banners, specializes in last-minute signage and banners, serving Noblesville and Hamilton County since 1992. Visit their webpage at www.loganstreetsigns.com or contact them direct, 317-773-7200. Noblesville Trophies offers a large range of products including sports trophies, corporate awards, and in-house embroidery. Noblesville Trophies provides you with the same-day service for those last-minute decisions. Contact them direct at 317-773-7391 or check them out on the web at www.noblesvilletrophies.com.
Say goodbye. Say thank you.
Hey, thank you for viewing. Rob,
Great
that was
game.
awesome, man.
Great game.
Thank you.
Thank
Great
you.
game. Enjoy your evening, and thank you for watching. Stay tuned for future events. Have a great night.